All right, usually this is the part of the show where I give you fantasy football advice, but there's no football this week. So let me just thank a few fantasy football players this season. Jonathan Taylor, I traded for you halfway through the season. You sat out 1 week with COVID, but you were a stud after that. Thank you. Kyler Murray, you were my rock. You were the anchor of my team, and I thank you. Michael Gallup, you were my biggest bust, and I'll be thinking all offseason about how you did nothing for me. Anyway, I want to hear from everyone in the chat. What were your highs and lows of this fantasy football season? And of course, we still have the Super Bowl. All right, let's hit on our fresh fit of the week, and my goodness, Davante Adams, he did not mess around. He's stunned on us with the Air Jordan Dior 1 cleats. You really want to whip those out in the snowy grass at Lambeau, Davante? It didn't matter, the Packers lost it. I guess we won't be seeing those in the Super Bowl. Maybe one day Davante will be good enough to head to Canton, where these guys are, the Hall of Fame Village.
We have a lot of great things going on in our company, and I'd like to tell you about a few of them. We have a wonderful developmental academy with the NFL Alumni Association. Secondly, we've started our Hall of Fantasy League that will be unlike any other. We've begun construction of Phase 2 of our destination, the Hall of Fame Village, powered by Johnson Controls, and we look forward to welcoming you here in Canton, Ohio in the near future.
My watch just hit me with, breathe, Jeffrey, breathe, like it's Hall of Trivia. Why would you be stressed? Welcome, everyone, into our Hall of Trivia, our football and fantasy sports themed trivia show, sponsored by the Hall of Fantasy League and the Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company. My name is Jeff Eisenman, and I will be your host. Like Tony Romo, I know what's about to happen tonight, and that's where the comparisons stop. There's nothing really else that I have in common with him. Let's turn our attention to the Start Sit Fantasy Pick'em Pool, which is brought to you by the Hall of Fantasy League. Each week we gave you 2 or more players and asked you to pick the player who you thought would have the most fantasy points that week. In the playoffs, we went with 2 pick'ems per week. We did it big. And we need a drum roll right now, because we told you whoever got the most wins at the end of the competition would split a $10,000 prize pot. Well, guess what, folks? We've made it to the end, and how about this? Only one player out there, just one, had the highest score. All right, that means that one player who's getting the entire $10,000 prize pot with 15 wins was KP Dowd. That's right, KP Dowd. Congrats. You get all $10,000. I don't know if you have a significant other out there, but they are about to get something nice for Valentine's Day. Or maybe you're just going to pay off your bills, which I endorse if that's what you're doing with this. Congratulations, KP Dowd. Now let's take a look at the leaderboard beyond KP Dowd. There were some others who did awesome, and your hard work will not be in vain. We will be getting some nice consolation prizes for 2nd and 3rd place. Marry Me Priebus right there, where the whole group after at 13 wins. And Gap picked out the gifts, from what I've heard, the prizes, so you can imagine how great they'll be. Hopefully she'll sign them. All right, now let's do that trivia. I'm going to ask you 10 questions about the NFL in this past week in fantasy football. All questions are powered by our friends at Sport Radar. If you get all questions right, you and whoever's left will split the prize pot of $2,500. I know KP Dowd's looking like, psh, $2,500 at this point? I got 10 grand in my pocket, Jeff. What do I care about this? Well, not all of us are as lucky. So let's get ready for kickoff because some of us just want that extra bit of cash out of that $2,500. Q1. Which of these is not a position in both football and basketball? Guard, center, or forward? One of these is not part of both the gridiron and the hardwood. Well, guards and centers are the big fellas across the offensive line, and they're joined by tackles, not forwards. We're talking about the offensive line here. 16,220 of you got that one. Forwards, they could play soccer or football. I don't know, handball, water polo, probably, but not football. And that's the one that mattered here. So forward was the answer that we were looking for. Q2. What is the only team to advance to a Super Bowl played on their home field? Dallas Cowboys, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or Los Angeles Rams? The boys, Bucks, or the Rams? All play in warm weather places, so right, they could be the answer. This is the 55th time we've done this whole Super Bowl thing. And the first 54 times the home team didn't make it. This year, it finally happens, and it's the one year they can't fill the stadium. I'm talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay, 16,180 of you. Hearing that headline all the time. Some of you might say, the 295 of you that said the Rams, I thought Los Angeles, they played their Super Bowl in the Rose Bowl, but that was not their home field in the 1979 season. Q3. Which of these quarterbacks is a free agent heading into this offseason? Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford, or Deshaun Watson? All right, we're looking for free agent, which is a big term here, because weirdly the free agent here might be the player most likely to return to his current team. That's Dak Prescott, and despite his injury, he's going to get paid. 10,755 of you still trying to get paid. Matthew Stafford and Deshaun Watson, they've and a new team is about to be paying that bill because they've both either demanded trades or it just looks like it's going to be not necessarily, they're not continuing with the marriage with their team. Q4. Which of these players was the first tight end with 3 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons? Tony Gonzalez, Greg Olsen, or Travis Kelce? Tight ends block and sometimes they catch the football. Travis Kelce, he led the league in receiving yards this year, and Tony Gonzalez has the most receiving yards ever for a tight end. But the first tight end with 3 straight 1,000 receiving yards in three straight 1,000 receiving yard seasons is Greg Olsen. He's your answer. 5,510, just about half of the people on that question. By the way, Olsen just retired after 14 seasons. That's why he's in the news right now. He repped the 7th floor during his time in the NFL, that's for sure. Gab, you think KP Dowd is playing or they're just out? No, they're playing. All right. For the love of the game, Q5. What QB had the greatest number of turnovers in a conference championship game this year? Josh Allen, Tom Brady, or Aaron Rodgers? Patrick Mahomes is not on here. He's not the answer. Tom Brady continued to add to his GOAT resume by winning his 10th conference championship game, but he also threw 3 interceptions, turning the ball over more than any other quarterback this past week. 7,050 of you. Yeah, you saw the second half where he was just throwing lollipops into the air. Tom, listen, you're playing this kid, Patrick Mahomes, next week. You cannot throw 3 interceptions and still expect to win this Super Bowl, even at home. Just saying. All right, I think we're around that time, halfway through this game. So players, take a quick break, rest up. You need some recovery. Use one of those massage guns, right, that you see the players on the sideline. They're sticking in whatever muscle part to recover. It's time for the halftime tweet and greet. I asked you on Twitter what city deserves to host a Super Bowl. There were some good answers, but these were some of my favorites. Scott Flick says Cincinnati, because it may be the only way we will experience it. Come on, Joey Football's out there. Joe Burrow. Give him a shot. And Jen Bono 24 says Kansas City, we are going to win it every year with Patrick Mahomes anyway, so we may as well keep the game at home It's a very valid point, Jen. You know, the money that Patrick Mahomes is getting, he can probably pay for the Super Bowl himself. Q6. What family was the first to have two brothers score touchdowns in the same NFL game? The Gronkowskis, the Dysons, or the Mannings? Do you know your football family tree and lineages? These brothers not only scored in the same game, they did it for the same team, the Tennessee Titans. Receiver Kevin and defensive back Andre took it to the house on September 22nd, 2002. I'm talking about the Dysons, 4,452. You got that right. Kevin, he's now the principal at Grassland Middle School in Franklin, Tennessee. Thank you to our writer, Kevin, for finding that, but I'll always remember him as the guy who came up 1 yard short in the Super Bowl. Sorry. But congrats on your being a principal. Q7. Which player had the most rushing yards in the conference championship round? Leonard Fournette, McCole Hardman, or Josh Allen? 3 guys. This past week we're talking about. Over 2 games. That's all you had to watch. All of these 3 dudes play different positions, and it's actually the guy who's supposed to throw the ball who is the answer. Josh Allen, running wild all over the place. 3,497 you holding firm through 7. Look, Josh Allen ran for 88 yards on 7 carries. His longest carry was 18 yards. That means he was just doing it over and over and over again, but he lost the game. Good effort, kid. Good luck making a Super Bowl in the same conference as Patrick Mahomes. Q8. Which of these quarterbacks did not force a trade after being drafted number 1 overall? Troy Aikman, Eli Manning, or John Elway? We're moving along with this game. We're on Q8 already. I'm thinking, like, wow, you guys move fast. Elway was drafted by the Colts and threatened to play for the Yankees, which I can't blame him for that. Eli Manning, or at least his dad, Archie, wanted out of San Diego, so he was swapped to the New York Football Giants for Phillip Rivers. Troy Aikman went to the Cowboys. They actually went 1-15 in their first year. In his first year there, under a new owner named Jerry Jones. Then he won 3 Super Bowls. It worked out. 3,871 of you, it worked out. Wow, that was Q8, but people knew that one. I thought some people might think Elway. Showing your age in the chat. Q9. The nameplate outside New Lions coach Dan Campbell's office references a character from what film? The Goonies, Titanic, or The Big Lebowski? Speaking of age, I mean, these are all basically the same era, which means pre-2000 in my mind. Titanic has kind of defined the Lions' sinking ship for the last half century, but when the Lions picked up their new head coach, they picked a guy who people think looks like the dude from The Big Lebowski. This is the nameplate outside his office with the dude on it. Dan Campbell referenced it in his press conference. 3,734. You cannot be fooled. I think he looks more like PC Principal from South Park, if anyone recognizes that reference. But either way, good luck to the Detroit Lions. You've always had so much success. All right, it's time for the final answer here, Q10. Do not be like Matt LaFleur and the Green Bay Packers. Go for this. Don't settle. I don't want to see anyone settle between questions 9 and 10. We only play 10 questions here on Hall of Trivia. All right, this is it. Q10. Who is the only running back with 2 of the top 10 all-time single-season rushing totals? Barry Sanders, Adrian Peterson, or Derrick Henry? You guys got this far. Let's see, because that Q8 and Q9, these people were plugging away. Derrick Henry just put up a top 5 season, and he's only 26. But that's only his first time doing so in the top 10. If he does it again, he'll bump Barry Sanders off the list because right now Barry's 97 season ranks 4th and his 1994 season is tied for 10th, which makes him the right answer. And that means if you're one of the 1,000... I can say it. That's a sacked question. We got to talk about that first as Myles Garrett comes through and takes down Jimmy Garoppolo, who's not going to the Super Bowl this year. 1,201 of you are winners today. And, you know, we hit you with I hit you with some disses, Lions fans, in Q9. But then we came back with a Lions-centric question for Q10. Wow, that splits right down the middle. And I'll tell you what, that Jonas 434, he was one of those who said, look, I got it right. I said Barry Sanders. So did Rock Lima, Moto knocked it down. Charlotte 2, and then I'm not sure what numbers you got after that. Aliot 67, nice job. Salinas 5643. You made it through Q10. Yummy02, take your $2.08. Haroka, nice job. Robot Barry looking off into the distance, thinking about what to do with that new cash. Congrats of those winners. You didn't settle for the field goal. You went the whole way, and for that reason, you are richer. Not KP Dowd level rich, none of us are, but you are richer. Or more rich. Gotta check my graph. Solve trivia every Thursday. And we still got one more to go. We've got a pre-Super Bowl show. No, not one, sorry. We got multiple shows to go. We got a pre-Super Bowl show, and we have a post-Super Bowl show coming up. For more news and information on the Hall of Trivia, follow us on social at HQ Sports and at the HOF League. As always, a special thanks to our sponsors, the Hall of Fantasy League and the Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company. I have been your host, Jeff Eisenband. Until next time, have the best fantasy version of your week, score some touchdowns, and if you haven't gotten it at this point, I don't know what to tell you. Don't get vultured. I'll see you soon. Josh Allen.